Mike check. 1 2 1 2.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Pretty much like a rapper.
Devin's in a horrible mood, so I'm going to be in an extra good mood today because someone's got to be fucked. So
I'll be my usual general malaise.
yeah, just be a happy medium between the two of us right now.
It is hard to be alive if you can't do that.
Here we are, episode 43 of Strong and Petty here in the Whiskey Tango Studios.
And you can take that to the bank. It is 43.
Yes, it is. We were absolutely sure of it. We checked to make sure today, so no mistakes there. Shitty day in Winnipeg and kind of pain in the ass to get here.
Holy shit. I came from my office through downtown to past your gym almost.
Yeah.
I came to Notre Dame. My goodness.
Nightmare.
And then I was ranting on my phone with my calculator out doing numbers in a budget that I just screwed up. That I'm
Not while you were driving, of course.
No,
but while
never.
you-
That I'm yelling at my wife for. So now I've got to go home and apologize to her. You screwed up the budget, and it's
Poor
because I
Danielle.
didn't send her the right numbers. And then I called my real estate partner. I'm like, the budget's wrong. And he's like, you're the only one that's mad about this. He's
Yeah.
like, we knew the budget wasn't off and that we didn't make what we wanted, but we made a lot of money. I'm like, yeah, we didn't make what we said we did.
Yeah, you fucking
And I'm like, and I got to go
idiots.
apologize to y'all for giving her the wrong numbers and then blaming her for getting the wrong numbers.
Now I have to be nice to my wife, and that's the last thing I want to fucking do.
Yeah. So I'm talking about, yeah, it's rough. But it's slippery.
But it is quite
This goes
slippery
right
outside,
back to the
though.
sex
yeah.
joke. You know what I'm saying? Today
It
is the day.
Yeah, it is quite slippery out
Try
there.
not to
that's for
slide
sure.
that asshole in front of you.
Yeah.
What?
Took the perimeter here and there was zero visibility.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Like you took
yeah.
the printer from your home to here?
all the way to the studio.
All the way here.
Just does a hot lap?
Killing time.
Yeah, just drive around the city, wait until it's time to record. Nothing else going on in the day.
And then show up late.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep into it, got to thank our sponsor.
Well, I was gonna say you mentioned the word real estate, and I was gonna
Yep.
say let's segue right into our favorite man in the real estate game. Please, Devin.
Jeremy
take it away.
Weens Realty. Update from last week.
Yeah.
I'm just proving how good this guy is. So I listed that house. You know, I had a little bias to it. I did a flip house there. We listed it the worst week to list. The week before Christmas. You don't list the week before Christmas. It's just not a good time. But we got shafted by the bank a bit in some timelines, and we listed. Within 4 days, we had an offer, 1% under asking price. We took the offer. Condition removed, possessions next week. We sold the house from when we listed to sold to possession is within 35 days on the worst week.
Jeremy Weens, realtor.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's a fucking real testimony right here. And
Yeah.
Devin is an extremely difficult person to work with. So if he can manage it with
be
Jeremy
around.
Weens, yeah, just to sit with, just to do a podcast with, to run a strongman federation with, to do all
I'll
kinds
give
of
you that because you're hounding me a lot with the strongman stuff. Yeah, I can't be difficult. But
No,
shout
you-
out to Jeremy.
I was saying today to my brother because speaking of which, I got to tell you something later about my brher. But just
Oh, shit.
business stuff. You know.
No,
what.
I know what you're talking about because
Yeah.
I have an unread message from him. Shit.
But I said to him, and he knows. But I said that Devin is probably. Everyone says this about somebody that they know, but I don't think there's anybody that I know.
Proof I haven't read it yet and answered it.
I believed you. Don't worry. That who's like the definition of like will not like. I don't want to say spreading too thin because you get the work done, and that's because saying that you're spread too thin means that you're not getting.
That's why I
everything
gained so much weight so I could spread more.
so you can spread more of yourself out.
What are you at now? 290?
No. I wore a black sweater, guys.
Yeah.
I wish I had as much faith in anything as you did in that zipper.
Yeah, no kidding.
And it's not the one on my pants.
Yeah. So, but you're like the guy who like if I was to say something to you like, hey, we need to do this, I know that you'll say yes, even though you have absolutely no business saying yes to it because you have too much going on. So, I told him to hold his little horses, and he was fine with that. So,
Yeah.
reminder.
I'll text it. It's I actually do. Like I showed you, I don't read messages until I can actually give an action because I get a
Yeah, I do the opposite
I
of
get
that.
a
It's a
preview
fucking
of-
big mistake.
Oh, so I used to do it.
Yeah.
But now I get a preview of the message, right? You see, and if I know I can't deal with it that second, I'll leave it on unread until I can dedicate the time to give a proper response.
Yeah.
Or else, if I read it, it is gone.
Yeah.
What I do
Out
is
of sight, out of
same
mind.
way.
Yep.
I read my message, and
I know
look,
you do.
I look up, and it's like in the Lion King when Mustafa's in the clouds, and I see McDowell up there,
Mufasa.
and he's like, just put your phone away. Don't answer it. And I say, okay, and I put my phone in my pocket.
Yeah.
You might be one of the worst text responders in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by far.
And in a world where you have some really fucking horrible text responders,
Yeah, I know-
and
I
you
know.
are one, and you have McDowell in your life, and
Yeah.
you have all these people in
Our
your life
group
that are
chat
really
is the most dysfunctional group chat I have in my life.
pretty
Yeah.
bad.
You sent a message last week. What did it take us? 3 days to answer back. All else, I haven't even answered it yet.
I got the blue check within minutes, which means you two and our producer read
Everybody
it,
saw it. Yeah.
and nobody responded.
3 days get a message from Tyler. None for me yet. And none
Tyler
for
answers something unrelated.
I phoned Devin and I was like talking about something else and I was like, oh shit, I have to match. I realized I got to message the fucking thing back. And
What
then
did I say?
And then I didn't do it right away after.
And
that.
I'm like, I need to too.
Yeah. So we're here. We're into the new year.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you. Do you guys have any kind of like anything you'd want to talk about in terms of like resolutions or anything for this year?
I've always been anti-resolution, just for the fact if I see I need a change in myself, I just make it in real time. Almost similar to the text messages.
Okay.
And you kind of strike while it's hot.
Right.
Yep.
And because if I'm like, oh, I gotta start dieting, I'll start in the new year. I won't.
You won't do it.
Or
I am,
life
clearly.
things or whatever. So it's just when the thing strikes me, I get it rolling
Right.
in real time. And I have goals, obviously, this year. But as far as resolutions, I kind of think they're lame.
Have you ever written down your goals?
Yeah.
You have. So I've never been a. Yeah, I set goals in my head, and I have goals in the gym, and I have goals in business that I just have in my head. But I've never written them down.
Go to the gym. Goal number 1.
Yeah. Go walk across my yard. But actually, after the podcast, I actually have a goal setting session tonight. I'm doing with 2 friends. I printed. I signed up for a course Saturday last week. I did a 3-hour seminar on just goal setting in life, real estate, business, health and fitness, relationship, faith, like Christian life, spirituality. There's 10 things I did. It's a 3-hour session. Me and Danielle did. I've never done that because I get really awkward having to write down my goals, and because for one, it's accountability, and it's accountability is hard sometimes when you don't want to be accountable,
Right.
And
Yeah.
especially I have to be accountable now to my wife because we're goal setting together. So I'm meeting with.
So just at this point now, you've decided to be
Yeah,
accountable.
yeah. We're 17 years in.
I figured now, 17 years in, 35 years old, I better start being accountable.
It's ever since this cold sore came up, I realized I should probably be.
Time to be a little more accountable.
Dude, that's this stupid thing. I don't know, but my wife is on me for it. It's like, there's only been one person who has a cold sore, and it was Janae at Christmas. How a week after
Christ.
Christmas did you get a cold sore? Is what she says to me. I'm like, Danielle, I'm telling you, there was no cold sore and no set lips. That's what I told you yesterday. She's like, you're retarded.
This guy.
But no, so I've never done it, but I'm actually doing a goal setting thing tonight. And I'm picking 3 years of my life that I have to do this. Like, I'll actually send you guys it. You might be interested, but it's a 10-piece circle and it has 10 different aspects of life, and you got to rate them from 1 to 10 on where you are right now, which really sucks because you actually realize where you are, and then pick your 3 worst ones and you dedicate to those, and you got to set weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly goal for this year.
Yep.
And then we're meeting every 2 weeks, me and a couple guys, and gonna go through that. So I've never done goal setting in my mind. I haven't. I've told just some people, but I'm dedicating it to this year.
That's good. Good for you.
Yeah. Have you done anything like that? It's all right.
No, mine. I'm just trying to watch more porn this year. That's pretty much the only goal that I have in mind.
What's your genre, though?
Is it a wrestling ring?
Yeah, it's
see that one?
just things in my real
Did you
life.
not see the one
That's
Jeff?
that's
You not see the one Jeff was just
Yeah,
posted?
Jeff was posting
That-
like
you
a
see it?
wrestling ring bed. Yeah.
Holy shit! I'm gonna pull it up. love
Yeah, I
Jeff
mean, I have honestly one of the dumb little goals that I've been thinking about is every time that we go to like say we went to Cuba with the circuit guys and they all speak French right there, and they make such an effort to include me and speak to me and stuff.
That's what Jeff was just posted.
Awesome. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I read the bottom.
They they go so far out of their way just
We love you,
to
Jeffers.
to learn English and converse with us, and include us and stuff. That I was like, you know what I could probably try to do is be at least a little more conversational in French. Like I'm not. I say more, and I'm really at like the very very bare minimum. But I really had a time where one of the guys, Kevin Caron, who's like fucking monster, but he just really like his English is really poor and my French is really poor, and it just like, but we both made an effort, we both tried, and I was like, these are all guys who they could just be like, well, why do I speak English and you don't speak French? You know what I mean? They wouldn't have to bother. So I'm like, I'm gonna try to get a little bit better at French over the year if I can, and we'll see if it happens or not.
I assume you took French from kindergarten to at least grade 8 or 9.
Like
I think we did it like I did it shorter than that for sure, because we were allowed to dip out sooner.
Oh wow.
And the moment that I could stop taking it, I stopped taking it. I fucking hated it, and it never clicked for me. And I've tried like taking, like I think I understand more Spanish because I've taken like Spanish courses as an adult.
When you guys were taking French in school, was it more like same with us? We did the same, but it was more learning to write it.
Yeah,
than speak it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I couldn't catch on to how everything went.
It
So I
just never
didn't
clicked
care.
for me. Even trying the Spanish stuff as an adult, it just never like the I don't know what it was. Like nothing about it ever just really made sense to me. I went with my girlfriend at the time for the Spanish stuff, and she became really good at it. And like I don't think she's like kept it up or whatever, but she was like really good.
Yeah.
And I sucked at it always, and I think that maybe now as an adult I can try something. I feel like I'm a better learner now than I was.
What are you using to? A certain program or no?
There's like an app that someone suggested to me that's
Rosetta Stone.
It's not that
That's
one,
a
but
famous one,
something similar to that one though. Yeah.
I'll be boastful about something that doesn't matter. I'm on a 60-day streak of learning German on Duolingo.
Oh really?
High German or Low German?
Duolingo does High German.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No one's trying to learn the fucking
Plotich?
Mennonite.
Come on, man.
It's funny how many people ask.
There is
that.
a resident. It does cross over.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like it's like if you it's like speaking. The different like
English
slang and
and then
regional dialects
Louisiana.
they have and stuff. Yeah, yeah. The French in Louisiana and the
60
French in
days.
Paris,
Yeah,
very
60
similar.
days. Yeah. I
Reason
just
being?
randomly one day was like, kind of want to keep my mind sharp,
Yep.
Yeah.
and instead of I get up at 5:10 every morning, and have my coffee, and I used to just putz around and play with the rabbit, and then go on Instagram. I'm like, why not do something productive? Like I'm not in a frame of mind to start writing that early.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna learn a new language.
Cool.
And yeah,
High German.
will I ever use it? I doubt it.
Yeah, do you have any
But
family
it's,
friends?
it's also just known as just German everywhere besides
Yeah. Yeah.
besides places where low German people live.
I'm half German.
Oh, okay.
I think one of my aunts still speaks it,
Yeah.
and she's actually Low German. But it's just
Hear that?
Yeah. We should hang out.
good Mennonite woman. But yeah, it's just something to keep my mind sharp.
You let her know that I made 180 pounds of varsh this weekend.
Tell her that. Make sure you tell her that.
Let her
please.
know it, right?
Yeah, make sure she knows.
I'll shoot her a text, but she's 78. and probably doesn't text all that
But
well.
then she might, with that in mind, she might care about something that Devin cares about.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
If she's a 78-year-old Mennonite woman,
Tell her I
then
did it.
she
Tell her I
might.
did it. Jan Seed.
That might actually have the same general interest that Devin would have.
Yeah. But Duolingo, if you get it,
That's what I was fucking around with a little bit when I was.
it's an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
They'll email you 2-3 times.
I know,
a
it's
day, and they're
nonstop.
like, you're out of the top 20, and you're like, I didn't even know I was in it.
And now I want to
stopped
be.
by, let you know but then you pick up your phone.
Yeah.
And you're like, one lesson is like 15 points or whatever, and then you're like, well, I'm only 15 behind the next person.
See,
so
and I do respond well to if I was like a dog, like I'd be like a treat based dog. You know what I mean?
And
Like
that's
the
exactly what it
rewards
is.
of it is really what works for me too.
Yeah.
Because I've used that before too. When I was in China, there was a Japanese guy there who had done the Japanese wrestlers all do learning excursions. They go to different parts of the world and they get sent back to Japan with what they've learned. And he went to Mexico, so he spoke more Spanish than he did English. So I was kind of like, oh, maybe like I know enough that we can kind of get back and forth on this a little bit. And I tried to brush up a little bit while I was there. So I was like in China trying to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
But it was yeah, the idea of it being like, hey, like you're doing a great job, and like you scored this points and you unlocked this thing, like that kind of works for me.
So
like
that's what Duolingo does.
Yeah, yeah.
The funny thing is, I think I'm on unit 6 now, or finishing 5, and you learn a bunch of different words, but I mean I can count to 10, big deal, but there's no numbers learned in it.
Oh yeah.
So you're like beer, water, dog, bear, owl, but you can't count.
Yeah, you can't
And
do the
so
simplest thing.
I don't know what they're trying to teach you.
And that's what I noticed with that one too, where it's like you'll learn like these weird words where I'm like, I've never said that in English. Why would I say that in French? You know what I mean? I don't. That's not a word that I use in my everyday in English.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to completely take a left turn from that. But one thing there's one thing I want to touch on here for our strongman stuff that's coming up here that's related to our podcast is we got an announcement, I think it was today or yesterday, that they're really trying to make it, because the westerns that you guys probably know, like the Western Canada Strongest Man for the uninitiated.
This thing's recording, right? I didn't screw that up.
No, it's good.
Okay, good.
There's a red light.
I see the word wreck. So it's this is what happens when our fucking producer isn't here.
I don't trust myself.
Asshole.
Yeah.
So everyone knows it as being in like Regina on Canada Day at the ledge there, right?
Yeah.
It's a big fucking deal, and it really, like, I was really happy that I got to do one of those. I did one, and then last year, they decided they're gonna move it around a little bit, which is a really cool idea, and I'm happy they're doing that too. But there's a certain like charm to the way that it's always been at at Regina. It was
Put on a great show.
The Holidays in Provic and those guys, they really do.
And the attendance at the ledge there is
1,000
ridiculous.
people. Yeah, it was insane, and you crammed the whole a really difficult competition. It's like 2.5 hours or something. Like
and it's
it was
always hot.
Yeah, it was brutal. So it really has its charm too, like that competition. And it was invite only compared to Eastern Canada Strongest Man, which is like you have an open invite and then it gets pared down the second day or whatever. I think it's a 2-day event. So the second day they pare it down to 10 guys or whatever. So they've gone with that, but they want to make it more. We've said 1,000 times that the West has kind of always been like a satellite sort of thing to the circuit where maybe not that much attention was paid to what we were doing over here or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of trying to remedy that now, where they're going to be a little bit more equal in terms of like now we have 4 guys coming from the West. We talked about that last episode on here, and they are making it so that we also have like the open invite concept with getting pared down. It's in Vancouver, which I think I talked about last time. And as a really cool like extra thing is that JF Caron's going to be coming in to ref for us now for Westerns. Yeah, so that'll be really exciting. We're going to have
that's new.
the best Canadian strongman to ever live come down and referee. So I hope that's if that's not if everything else to do with Western Canada Strongest Man isn't enough of a draw to get some of these amateur guys to come out and test their mettle, I really hope that's something because it's really cool just to have JF there and
Totally.
Man, like there's nothing. I think Brad Provic is probably in second place for where he will make you think he'll make you do things you didn't think you could do because he's so good on the mic. Like he's so good doing his commentary. Like I think Jeffers said that he remembered like he had one deadlift rep left to go and he wasn't sure he could do it, whatever. And Provic was right there. He's like, it's like, do you want to go back? Do you want to go to Canada's Strongest Man? You need this one more rep or what? And it's just and what else do you do besides fucking pull one more rep at that point?
Provic
right?
was the Gorilla Monsoon of emceeing Strongman.
He's great. And I said before that when I do it, I basically just copy his style because he just has such a great presentation of what he does. But JF is also one of those guys too where it's like when he's looking at you and he's like he does it a different way than Brad because
more stoic.
Yeah, and he's a referee right in your face, right? But he's just like, okay, you can do this, and you're like, I guess I fucking have to now because Jeff Caron says that I can do it. So
we used to, being McDowell and I, watch Scott's old training videos because Provic was in the background.
Yes,
an absolute animal.
Yeah.
And you're like, training like that every day would be so exhausting.
Yeah, they're in like a back lane.
Yeah.
McDowell sent me those videos.
Yeah.
They're in like a back lane and they're just hitting like deadlift reps and you can hear Brad just like not letting him take a second and not letting him stop and it was I mean it's little wonder how good those guys got when it's like that's the way they fucking they trained. But yeah, it's a really exciting thing where we're gonna have the best to ever do it in Canada down to watch us.
They're still doing a 2-day show.
That is up in the air right now. I think I'm hearing it's going to be a 1-day event, which will make for a fucking packed day.
So
but
no qualifier.
I think that it'll be this is my understanding, and things change, so I don't know.
Write this down.
Yeah, right. Make sure. This is the law. Whatever I say. I think that what they're doing is let's say it's 6 events. They're doing 3 or 4, and then they're paring it down from there.
Oh, okay.
I think that's my understanding of it right now.
So half the field will leave the third event type thing, and
something like that. It'll depend on like
restructure the points and.
Yeah, I guess I hope so. Yeah, and like last year we didn't see a huge turnout from amateur guys. Honestly, I think that it being in Fort Mac kind of deterred some people too because it was really expensive to get there.
Vancouver will do worse then.
Vancouver's not going to be any better for that, but at least it's a nicer place to go. You know what I mean? Like,
so here's the problem with Western Canada, and it's not fixable, is it's so spread out. To have it floating around, to go from Manitoba to BC or BC to Manitoba, that's a long ass trip, and you have to be really committed.
Right.
So as an amateur, you got to be really licking your chops to be like, I can make that next step.
Absolutely.
But if you're a guy trying to, like, maybe I'm there, maybe I'm not. Do I want to? That's a $2,000 weekend.
It can be hard to justify.
You
if
know
you
what I mean?
If you don't feel good about the weekend, it can be hard to justify.
Whereas like Quebec and Ontario, it's not that far, and then the Maritimes. But it is fair that it bounces around because why should BC and Manitoba always travel?
Right. Yeah. I would like to have it. I would like to have it here sometime. You know what I mean? Like we have a lot of shows that would do really well to have that. We have one on Canada Day here
they
already.
actually emailed me. They messaged another message I returned you today, but they messaged me. Are we running a 2 districts? We had talked about possibly moving west. Cave. Are we running the 2-day show? We give you both days. They're excited to host.
Well, that's maybe next year. We'll
I think if anyone can put it on, it's like I would say you guys are 2 of the top showrunners in Canada.
I would say that I help the top short runner in Canada.
I appreciate
I do appreciate that gesture, but I would
You're
say
part
that
of the team.
I assist
You're-
the yeah.
He's
yeah.
Bret Hart. You're Jim the Anvil.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll take that all day. I'll take that all day. Yeah, no, I think that we could manage that. The challenging part would be is that as with so many of the competitions that we put on, is that I would be competing as well as trying to promote.
Yeah.
And maybe Devin would compete too. We have to see what that one. I would love if that happened.
If Westerns ever came here,
Yeah.
I'd have to take a year training.
I like it. Good.
I've been in back gym for the last 2 months straight.
How's that been?
My back's holding up surprisingly okay.
Yeah.
I can touch my toes most mornings.
There you go.
So that's yeah, we'll see.
I feel like that could be taken as a joke, but you're serious.
I'm dead serious.
No, yeah, I didn't.
Like I struggled yesterday to tie my own shoes, but
I know we all know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
some listeners might be.
Yeah, yesterday we had 3 girls come up from Snap Fitness.
Nice.
They wanted the novice show. Never touched an implement. They rolled
Tremendous.
into my gym yesterday, and so I helped him. I trained him for an hour and a half. Mocha couldn't. He had a guy that ended up showing up a little late, so I just coached him for an hour and a half. And Pat was doing his stuff and Brian and whatever else. So I just ended up. I was in there pre-workout up, ready to just hammer down, and they rolled in. And I'm like, they don't know what to do.
Classic Devin.
So I just
Classic
Yeah,
Devin.
Pat's like,
Just
you-
both get a lift in,
Yeah.
pre-workout and everything, and
I
someone
was-
needs help, so now I can't do
elbow
it.
wraps were on. I was
Yeah.
all jacked up.
Yeah.
Pat was all excited because I've been training with Pat to help him. The reason I've been training is Pat needs a partner to roll into in Arnold's to keep him accountable and keep the intensity up, and I can do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been trying to, but I'm trying to hang in there with his weights.
Yeah.
I haven't trained in a year,
Right.
but I'm giving it my best shot.
Shout out to Pat for smoking that 500 front squat.
Wasn't that
too.
disgusting?
That was insane.
So,
He like
end of last season, 408 was his max, like
Yeah.
leading into September.
It's
Yeah.
a huge front squat.
It's a huge front
Yeah.
squat, and he moved it like if I
There
did
was-
a high bar back squat, I don't think it would have moved as fast as he moved that one.
There was room in
honestly.
the tank.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So then he
Oh,
hit
yeah,
408
yeah.
for a double 5 weeks ago, and he's like, because I had put a strict press on the bar that I've never touched, and for reps, and I'm like, if I get more than 3 reps, you have to do a double at the 408. He's like, well, I've only ever done a single. I'm like, if I get more than 3 reps, you do a double. I ended up banging out 6 reps, which was a rep PR, like more than I lifted back when I was competing.
There you go.
And so he did a double. And he's like, oh, that was hard. Then we're warming up, and I have my 500 front squat on the board. And he's always like, he posts it. I'm taking every one of your gym reps. Is what he keeps saying. Because right next to the gym board is my picture of Manitoba's where I smoked him.
Right. Right.
And I'm like, I couldn't beat him now. So I'm like, I'm just going to live on the past. And so we go, he went to for 445, 455. I'm like, no, you have to go at least 500. He's like, well, no, we're going 505. So he put it on there, and he smokes it, and I'm like,
He really smashed.
yeah, and
it,
I'm like,
yeah.
my plates weren't calibrated, so it's probably 510 actually.
He
But, he smashed it with room in the tank.
Yeah.
It's really funny that you mentioned that the Manitoba Strongest Man show that you won.
Yeah.
Where, man, talk about that not being a good representation of what he's capable of. Because
No.
he was like mid-pack in that show.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane to
He
think
got
that
beat
like
by guys he shouldn't have got beat by.
man, it's crazy because like
Yeah.
the next year he beat everybody who beat him.
Yeah.
Except for you.
Yep.
Because
Because I didn't compete.
nope.
And unless
That's not
there's
why. Just because you just didn't. That's
Yeah.
that's the only thing.
Because he
Doesn't
couldn't
matter
hang
what.
with me.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
what. You had one shot at the big dog and he missed. And that's it.
2-part question. How old is Pat?
34.
34?
Yeah.
Okay.
He just looks really young.
He does look
Still,
really
he's
young,
still.
yeah.
I mean,
I
34
thought
is
he
still
might be
pretty
like-
prime.
Not that
But
that's not old, but I
The
just
second
mean,
part of the question, just being like a shorter guy,
yeah.
does he have like come on or violent court potential?
I believe. I have a biased opinion, but I haven't been around athletes like you guys have. You've seen the top end athletes with guys who win the NHL, and you've seen.
Well, I gotta live with myself.
Yeah. I've never seen a guy be that explosive and that strong.
Yeah.
For what he has, like, we was picking up for height. I mean, the dude's only just over 5'7". He and the explosiveness and the power he has, like, just like, and I sort of seen that the first time I bet him on box jumps that he couldn't jump something. I'm like, you can't jump. Like, you're 5'7". How tall can you jump? And I'm like, I'll give you
Short
a
people
yeah.
can't jump.
Well, you could jump, but only so high, right? I'm like, you can't jump as tall as as high as a guy 6'5". And we set up box jumps to like 50 something inches. It was past his chin. And I'm like, you jumped it, I'll give you a sweater.
Like a Kleenex box?
Yeah, yeah. And we put the box, and you jumped, I'll give you a sweater, thinking I can't lose a sweater. And he didn't even hesitate. And he was just standing on top of the boxes.
That's
and I'm
crazy.
like,
He's a very athletic guy, and he's obviously very gifted in terms of like he looks sweet, like he's really jacked.
oh, dude's a good looking dude.
Yeah, well, I'm ignoring
Like
his face
chin
right
down.
now. I'm just not. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm talking
chin
about
down.
he's got a great physique, and also he gets to be really strong on top of that. So it really makes sense that he's going to be like an athletic guy. He's just obviously
He
very
moves
genetically
like-
gifted.
From a strength coach position and working more so with athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He moves like an athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So add that to the list that you just made. He has a lot going for him.
Right.
Yeah.
and clearly he trains hard. I'm just
For him, it's just dialing things.
He's got so much going on in his life that's going to be a challenging thing for him too.
Well, the farming, yeah.
Farming
his
specifically.
off season like now is slow at the farm. Winter's
Right.
slow. But his issue is he can't. He just lets everything go to the wind as soon as he starts lifting heavy. Then there's no like, Pat, let's pull the slack on the deadlift bar. Nope, I'm just gonna.
I saw those reps.
And I'm like, well, yeah, the hell with everything I've taught you the last couple months.
Yeah,
like it's,
yeah.
and then he finishes the reps and he looks at me. Oh, sorry. But that's what cost him first place at Nationals was we practiced the bags throwing. I'm like, Pat, this is the event that will lose you your card. You have to be calculated on these bags. Yeah. And he missed it the show, and after he said that it's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Like, and
that's a gift and a curse though.
Yeah.
Because he's the kind of guy I feel that you can throw anything on a bar, and he's like, I'm just gonna like
make it happen.
grip and rip, make it happen. You know what I mean?
I honestly believe he'll pull 800 by the spring
That's incredible.
at 230 pounds.
Oh, I don't. That doesn't sound crazy to me at all. I think that we're gonna have 3 800-pound deadlifters in Manitoba very soon when we have none right now. And even like that Reed guy say he pulled 7. That was a pretty convincing 750 he pulled.
It was.
Like, there's a few candidates right now. I think that like right now, Ben Downs might be the only guy in Manitoba. You know Ben Downs, eh?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with at least?
Yeah.
He
was
somewhat
the deadlift
recently
guy.
he was 900.
Yeah, he was over 900.
So like that's insane. Just like in his fucking garage, I think.
Yeah.
He did Chico training, some high volume training.
Chico sucks.
Yeah,
That's what he did to get
not fun.
there.
Yeah,
Oh,
but he's a guy where I mean, off the record, he has the heaviest Manitoba deadlift of all time. I think I would guess.
I don't know anybody
900.
else. Yeah.
Like a training deadlift.
Training,
Yeah.
So
But
it's
still,
Unless you've seen
that
something.
still counts in my book.
yeah, it's just it's fucking incredible. But I think that we're gonna go from like a Dom's hit 850.
Yeah.
In competition, which is like the Manitoba
Record,
the
yeah.
official deadlift record right now is 850.
Yeah.
But I think that we're gonna have 3 guys: myself, Dan, Pat, maybe this Reed guy, 4 guys.
Thrones?
Thrones is getting very close.
He's gotta be.
Sumo doesn't count.
I don't. If he
Sumo doesn't count.
if he tells me that this year he's going to hit 800, then I say he will.
Well, he has every lift calculated
Right.
to the day he's going to hit.
And that's what I'm saying. But if he says that's not my plan this year to hit 800, then that's not what he's going to do, right? So I don't know exactly what his is, but I know he's bulking back up again. He's trying to get back to the 240.
What does Heinemake hit? He hit some heavy deadlifts there.
Never in competition, but
No, gym
I'll see him
lifts.
tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I'll ask him.
Some
Yeah.
gym lifts. I swear he was over 800 in the gym.
probably
Maybe I'm
yeah.
wrong.
He was doing
Yeah.
crazy numbers. Like even that he used to go to McDole's every once in a while, and he was doing crazy numbers on there.
I think he did straight bar skull crush with the same amount that he deadlifted.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen him straight bar 225 skull crusher.
So did I. I walked to the gym one day and he did that, and I'm
at
like,
our place.
yeah, and I'm like, what did I just watch here?
It's one of the more disgusting
I feel
gym
my,
lifts I've
my
ever
elbows
seen.
wouldn't even allow that. Never
No.
mind my muscles. Like,
It was.
shit.
I couldn't believe it. I thought it was fake weights. I'm like,
Yeah.
God, this makes sense. McDonald's fake
Like
weights.
take all the big lifts out.
oh, good.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. None of these guys are that strong.
Yeah, excellent.
Take all the big lifts out. That's one of the more disgusting.
I've never seen it again.
Yeah.
We also we have these young guys at our gym too, and one of them is
Your hackers?
Yes, the one guy. Yeah, this is where I wish that I had Thrones here because he's really obviously a lot better with this information than me. But he's a 98 kilogram lifter, junior. He broke the open junior deadlift record. He's breaking all these fucking records, obviously.
Yeah.
And now he's got his sights set on the national deadlift record for junior, which is it's all very doable for him. And like the Thrones did all these calculations, or whatever, and they looked at his numbers of what he's hit, and like. He'd be on the podium right now for nationals or something like that. Like he's just like this kid's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And he will be he hit 707 he hit was just going to the gym and just doing whatever he wanted to do every day.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And like
Numbers I've never hit.
because he would come to our gym and he would always just try to max out. He's like, I'm gonna try to hit 730.
Classic
I'd be like,
young guy.
Yeah, but he would never get it. And I was like, so what did you do differently from this time to last time that you thought you would get this? And he just was like, I don't know. I just felt like I would. And I kind of talked to him, and he was just like, he just never, because like he would just go and just.
That's a coming of age thing, though.
The
Like,
confidence.
every young man
Absolutely.
or every young athlete lifter deserves to go through that.
And he's already figured it out faster than I did. I wasn't 20. I was still doing that when I was 21, 22.
You had to hire my dumb ass to get. Through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's around the time that I did that. But
Yeah.
he's a guy who will be doing 800 pretty soon, I think. Which and like a powerlifting 800.
Well,
too,
even
you
in the
know?
West, until a couple of years ago, there was only a select few guys in the West who would pull over 800.
Yeah.
Like Scott, I'm sure Brad's must have pulled that.
I don't know what Brad's pulled.
I don't
Honestly,
know.
I don't know.
And you got guys like probably Brad Shepard, now Jeffers. Like, but back in the day, there wasn't that many.
Brad Shepard's not a deadlifter. He's a squatter, but he's not
Okay.
a deadlifter. But yeah, there's a lot of guys like like I said, like Dom is a guy that like no one is. I say this, and I'm not trying to disrespect Dom in any way, but none of the guys who are around right now know about Dom because it's just like these guys from even 5 years ago to get forgotten so fast, which is kind of a shame. Which brings me to this next thing I wanted to bring up, which I'm very happy and excited to talk about, is with the never-ending pro bono assistance from Michael Thrones, we have started collecting all the Manitoba strongman records, strongman and strongwoman records.
You had brought that up that you wanted to do
Yes.
that.
Yeah,
Probably
we've been
3
talking about
months
that
ago.
all
Yeah,
year.
so it's been something that we've been trying to do, and it's something that we've been talking about doing for a long time. And Thrones is like finally just been like, why don't we just start doing this? And we have, if I think the numbers are correct, we have 50 lifts. Just because strongman. It was hard. It was hard to narrow it down to too much, but like we have and that includes like deadlift from different heights, and it includes
Farmer walk, farmer tiptoe, farmer back.
Yeah, exactly. farmer different distances, different all that.
My
shit,
anchor
right?
drag in there.
We'll find a way to put
Max
it in there.
distance,
for sure, yeah.
Shortest distance for max time.
Angriest lift.
Yeah.
We started kind of collecting that a little bit, and we went all we're being extremely thorough, and I'll explain to you why, because it might seem like at first like why the fuck would you go this deep with it, but if we counting all the men's and the women's and the weight classes and all that shit, we'll have 2,500 records kept in Manitoba strongmen. And now, like I said, that's gonna sound like overkill, and I thought it was at first too, and then Thrones kind of talked me into it a little bit because.
No, Thrones just started talking numbers. Like, oh yeah, no, it makes sense now. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to sound dumb, so
I don't have 3
yeah.
hours to listen to this, so no, I agree.
No, but I'll use you guys are prime examples of this. Where imagine when you guys started doing strongman. Imagine that someone explained to you that there would be locally even. There would be divisions for 80, for 90, for 105, for 120. There would be women's divisions. There would be masters divisions. There would be weight classes inside the masters divisions.
Teens,
There would
novice.
be teen divisions. There would be novice divisions.
Yeah.
You would never believe it.
Yeah.
You would be like, that's insane.
105 was a stretch back then.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. If you saw it like
And that was only because of Brent Ham.
Brent would do 105 shows and
Yeah.
or 105 division inside of his open competition, and that was it. So when it was put that way, and it was kind of like, hey, like this is the way things are moving. We looked at OSG and what they record. We looked at the British records and what they record, and we decided to go with that. But we did make one very interesting change that, as far as I know, no one else does this in terms of keeping their records. But this was Thrones' suggestion, and I was sort of resistant at first because I'm an open competitor. But what we're doing now is let's use Deloli as an example. So Deloli has a 377 per hand farmers world record for 50 feet. So me, or let's say I think Dan has the open record, or maybe Nate does. I think Nate has the open record right now, but it's not as heavy as Deloli's. So his is not counted as the record. Deloli's in the lower weight classes counted as it bumps any heavier weight classes that don't beat his number.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So let's say that Pat goes on a fucking tear with the log
Yeah.
and he hits 365. That bumps anybody as a 105
Anybody
guy.
above
That
him.
bumps anybody up above him, and he's the record holder all the way to the open division.
I don't mind that actually.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I thought it was. He talked about doing that on our board, and our board at our gym.
I seen that.
And I said no, only because the point of the board is to get names on there and get more
Yeah,
people on there and
yeah.
get them encouraged to want to do stuff. So that's the only reason we didn't do that. But when we're talking about actually keeping records and stuff, I think that's pretty reasonable. Like if you're able to do it at a lighter weight class, like why not? Why wouldn't you count that? You know what I mean? Like you did it under more restrictions than the guy who did it in the open class. That's why I said I'm kind of like, oh, like I wish we weren't doing that. But
Yeah.
part of me wishes that. But
Now you got to pull 380 and weigh it.
exactly, yeah. I think it makes sense. I think it's kind of a cool way to do it. And
One
we
thing with
sorry.
powerlifting, like if a junior sets a record
Right.
at a weight,
right.
and then the open or is just like that kid should have the record for everything until someone has a higher one, and then you just retain the junior.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it should
That's
be.
exactly right. And
Yeah,
that's,
from that record lower is still yours, but
Yeah.
that record above is this other guy's.
anytime that you're
That's
working,
how it should be.
anytime that you're working inside of more constraints as the other guy, and you still are able to get more than that guy. That's our thinking, and that's what we're gonna do.
I'm coming for the Atlas Stone record.
Oh boy! I would love to see that attempt. I would love
What's
to
the
see that
heaviest
attempt.
Atlas stone?
We have a four.
The one that we have?
No. Like,
Oh, in the world?
has there been like a 500?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 5. Yeah.
Tom Stoltman, right?
Yeah. Tom Stoltman has the record.
To like 40 inches or something.
Yeah.
Like, those guys are so
huge
damn tall,
stone.
he just stood up and dropped it over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I always struggled with
I
Atlas
always
stones and field stones.
I always wanted Atlas Stone records to be height relevant.
Totally.
Well, that's what we
totally.
we have a couple of things. We have like Trump weight. So if
I'm
I
a big Trump guy.
exactly. The Atlas Stone record right now is you asked if it was 500. It's actually 630 pounds.
Oh,
630.
Yeah.
In Manitoba?
No.
Oh, I was like,
that's the
what?
world. That's the world record.
Okay.
who the hell?
Tom Stoltman holds the world record, 48-inch bar, 630 pounds.
48 inches.
48 inches.
Okay, that's but how do your biceps even get how does shit not let go?
Well, I mean, it helps that he has a wingspan that's like 7 feet. You know what I mean? Like
That plays into it.
You could get around that stone.
Together.
if you guys held hands with
Could you
one hand and
imagine?
then
We
reached
would
around
actually-
it.
Hacking my whole chest.
We would still be-
You guys now are the arms. That's what you'd have
We
to
would still be on the top side of that round. Trying to pick that thing.
What was that movie? Stuck on You?
Yeah. What you would have to do is have you guys on either side and then Pat in the middle holding your guys' heads. And then he's the chest and you guys are the arms and you pick it up together and do
He's
it.
the only one with the chest.
Yeah. So that's so that's where we're at with that one. And I'm excited because I this is a call to anybody who might be listening that didn't see mine or Throne statuses or status. Holy fuck, boomer. Instagram stories.
Your tweet?
Yeah.
Your ex.
I got kicked off Twitter recently because someone hacked my account and started going crazy on it, and they just banned me, and then I was like, oh, that wasn't me, and they're like, well, tough luck, and they just kept me banned. So now I'm off Twitter, which I'm fine with. But so anybody who didn't see mine and Thrones' Instagram stories, if you think that you have a claim to a record in Manitoba, and we're gonna list, we haven't put out the actual list of like lists yet.
Yeah.
But it's all the ones you would expect, plus a bunch of ones that you wouldn't expect. So if you think that you have one, please contact me, Devin, Thrones, Strong Manitoba, Strong Petty, whoever, and we'll look into it. Thrones is doing what Thrones does, and he's pouring through all the old records that we have from all the all the stuff that we've done, all the competitions that we put on, and I'm doing my part of trying to I'm trying to find all the old stuff from
the barn.
Yeah, the old shit like that. Like I know that he has scores. Would there be any numbers on those sheets?
Yes, there is numbers, and
I thought
not
there
on
was.
top of that,
Okay.
on Tapatalk, the Tapatalk app, I found the old Strong Manitoba group chats that we had back from the 2000s.
Wow.
Where he would list everything, and we all it was a forum, and we all just communicated, and all the weights are on there.
Great. So we can use some of that. Like I know there's a couple that I really don't want to shortchange guys like Dom, who have just put up crazy fucking numbers.
Or even Brent, like in the weight
Or
classes.
Brent.
Like these
Yeah,
guys that ran-
exactly. When we're talking about weight class stuff, yes, I don't mean to. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And like I said, I know that Dom has an 850 deadlift, and I only know that because I asked Dom, and he said, I don't know. And I
Sounds
said,
about right.
and so I looked it up, and it's on Strongman Archives because they record Westerns and up. So
Oh, okay,
Westerns,
yeah.
Canadians, Easterns, those are all on there. So, what a fucking asshole too. That it's like, I know every one of my fucking lifts.
Yeah.
I know, and like not even the good lifts. Like I know like what I've floor pressed. I know what I've done. I just everything because that matters to me. And then it's just like, oh, like what was your 1 rep max, the heaviest deadlift you ever did? Did it at CSM? Got a good placing there.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I don't remember. But 850 is his number. Just for that's the open. That is the like.
open deadlift.
Open deadlift, any sport, any weight class, whatever. That's the heaviest recorded deadlift in Manitoba history is 850. So that's I thought it was lower than that because he did max deadlift twice at CSM, and the first one was 826. The second time it was 850. I thought 826 was the number, so I was like, hey, I'm not that far off. I'm about 25 pounds away from that. That seems pretty reasonable. And now I'm considerably farther from that. So
have you finally broken the 800?
no, fuck no, not yet. Well, I haven't tried again yet.
It's just flirting with you there.
Yeah, I missed it the one time, and then I was like, well, I don't want to dwell on this too much, so I just went back to my regular programming, and
I still like how you're kicked off Twitter.
yeah, well, I don't miss it one bit. But.
I get voice banned on Warzone all the time.
Warzone?
I play Warzone online. Yeah,
You have,
online.
you have time to play video
At
games?
8:30 at night, I roll on.
That just fucking blew my
I
mind.
played with Colton Sloan,
Wow.
and I get banned. So you can say the N word all you want on Warzone, but if you say faggot,
well, jeez
you're off.
Louise.
14
Now you
ban.
know. Now you know.
Yep.
Well, you got
These black guys are always yelling at me. I'm like, man, I can't say those words. And then some guy with a riot shield, I'm like, hey, you riot shield fag. Boom, voice that.
You gotta switch your hateful language. I guess that's that's
Refocus your hate.
Yeah, or if you say homo, boom, voice chat.
wow.
I'm like, how are these guys saying all this other shit? Yeah, nope, that's where we draw the line online.
Well, now you know. You already knew, I guess. Anyway, but
I found it the hard way twice. I'm like, which word did I say that got me banned?
but
But those guys, that guy's Colton Sloan,
Yeah.
Tug Eye Pocket is his Warzone name.
what is it?
Tug Eye Pocket.
I don't know what that means.
It's a native slang.
Okay.
And his other buddy was the devil's inch.
The devil's inch.
You ever heard of what the devil's inch is?
Please.
So they explained it to me. I'm like, what's the devil's inch? He's like, it's when you give it to a lady and you bottom out, but then you pull the fat back and give it that extra inch. And that's the devil's inch. And I'm like, that's amazing.
That is pretty good. Thank you for that, Colton. I was gonna say another
30 of our viewers are going to try that this week on their own ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And 3 of our hosts.
we have
Maybe.
another record holder right here in our midst too, with the 120.
Well, I guess I hold the log for the 120.
That's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest log in the room for the first time ever, Devin Penner.
Wow.
That's right. What was it? What was the number?
335.
335 for the in the 120 division.
Yep.
So we so things like that we're starting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was pretty pumped with that.
Fucking great lift.
Yeah, besides Dom, you tied it last year, but besides Dom, that's the biggest log we've ever had.
That's the biggest.
Besides Dom, yeah.
I hit 340.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
When?
Last time.
No, it's 335.
Oh, you know what? You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. I hit it in training.
Yeah.
I hit it in training. No.
Yeah.
I thought we were about to throw down here.
Yeah.
I thought so.
I was like, where's this going? This is great.
Zipper ain't holding me back.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know what I'll have in the tank for the
Is your
for
log-
the log one. It's not going great, but we'll see.
But that's been your kind of your Achilles heel because your moving events are great. Your stones are phenomenal, and your pressing is always
Pressing's never
progress
been great.
slower than everything else has.
And it's one of those things too, where it's like it's. I think it was you, Beeks, who said something like you get good enough to realize that you still you reach a point where you get really good, and then you get a little better, and you're like, oh, I still suck at this actually.
Yeah.
Where it's like because you break through to that next level. It's like when you bench 225, you're like, I'm the fucking man, and then you bench 315, and you're like, who gives a fuck? That guy just did 365.
That's
That guy did
literally
405. You know what I mean?
I felt more confident benching 315.
Yeah.
I hit that 475, and I'm like, yeah, but so many people hit 500 already,
Yeah.
so what's the point?
You know, you look across the street, and you got fucking all the Saskatchewan guys. You know, Jefferson's getting 900, and Sean Hayes is deadlifting 850. These guys, you know, so you have to have a certain level of like.
Brad
you know,
Shepard squatting my entire total.
Yeah, you gotta have the attitude of it's never enough, but it can be.
And then once you get to each new plateau, they're harder to break.
Right.
Because you're at such a high level.
Right.
Like going from 225 to 315 could be 3 to 6 months. For some people.
For sure.
Going from 405 to 415 could be half a year to a year.
For sure.
some
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And you really have to dial.
How long to get to 500?
TBD.
Yeah.
if I could get your program me, how long you figure it would take to get to 500?
What do you at?
Currently, right now, I bet you 405. I could hit just starting out. Best ever deal is
How
475.
long do you plan on living?
Yeah.
As a drug-free athlete.
Like 12 to 16 months.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's not
But yeah, so what was I say with the
it's not
log?
that bad.
No, it's not. That's a perfectly reasonable expectation. With the log though, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's like, oh man, I suck at log, and then you're like, oh, the vast majority of the world could not do the number that you could do, but it's like, but there are 5 guys next province over who can. So that's it. So that's the problem,
is that
you know.
disgusting mindset. Yeah, the 1.1 million or 1.7 million people in Manitoba can't touch what I can do.
Yeah.
But someone else did it.
But somebody can, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a guy that I know who lives in fucking
But yet,
Fort Mac who can
but
do
yet,
it.
but
So
yet
I gotta,
to your mom,
you know, like,
to your mom, you're like, you're the best thing in the world.
It's hard because I mean a lot of the stuff maybe that I used to do, but that you're doing now, you're in such a small percent of the world, but the only percent that matters to you is the ones ahead of you.
right, yeah,
So
exactly.
you can't
that,
even appreciate
that even smaller percent in front of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can't
like
even
that-
appreciate what you do.
It's like that in business. It's like that.
Anything.
Yeah, you start making money. Well, I made more money than I ever wanted. Yeah, but there's people making way more than me, so now it's not good enough.
Yeah.
And it's and maybe that's just a male. I don't know if that's more of a male dominant thing than a female thing. Being
I think so.
just competitive and testosterone. I would think there'll be more male dominant.
But there are women who have that too.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what
no,
I
for
mean?
sure
Like there's
yeah.
like I think that it is more of a male trait probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I think that women are more I think they're able to take more like pleasure in what they have.
Yeah.
Whereas for a lot of guys, like if I'm
My
using,
wife doesn't take any pleasure.
so your wife has never had an inch of pleasure.
She's
I
supposed to
said.
get the devil's into pleasure.
She's a devil's inch short of pleasure.
But I think that they're able to enjoy it a little more. But that reminds me of something else that I wanted to mention too.
You have a lot of things you want to
Hey,
mention.
you know what? Someone's got to come with some fucking content to this podcast. I'll tell you. Have you been? I know that you wouldn't be you're not very on social media kind of guy, but have you been seeing any of the ladies who are training for like this? Sam Beliveau and Mel Peacock are both training for the Arnolds we're at the Arnold's. Have you seen any of the training or anything at all?
A little bit at Melissa Peacock because she trains with Jeffers.
Right.
And I see that. I'll be honest, I've been trying to get off social media more.
Right.
I
Yeah.
turn off all my
No, I don't blame you.
I turned off all my notifications, so that's why when people are Instagram messaging me for training, I like, hey, we're coming to the gym to train. I have no idea because I don't get any. I'm getting too many notifications.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's
I've been
reasonable.
dialing back.
Well, Mel just hit a 180 circus dumbbell.
I knew that because
Which
I made
is-
fun of Pat yesterday.
Yeah, that's fucking.
Because we were doing circus
crazy,
dumbbell,
yeah.
and I programmed him at 175 because we are just building up to it. And he smashed it, and he's all pumped. I'm like, just remember that Mel Peacock still beat you.
Absolutely.
He's like, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well,
That's massive.
So Sam
Unreal for
Beliveau.
anybody that's massive.
Yeah, Sam Beliveau has the record. I think it's 188 pounds. I think. I'm pretty sure it's what it is. And it's gonna be really really fun to watch because, her, Mel, and Nadia Stowers, who's like I said was like looks like Black China, like she's just gigantic, are all gonna vie for that record, and it's gonna be like I feel pretty confident that someone's gonna break that record, whoever it might be. But Mel hit a really convincing 180. That was
What's your best circus dumbbell you've done? At my best, I've never hit 180.
in competition. I've hit as part of like a thing, a medley, whatever you want to call it, ladder. Was 205, and the most I've hit in training was like 215.
Yes, and I've never even hit a 180. Like
Yeah, I'm not good. I was doing last time I tried to hit. Dan came into the gym and I was like, because he's hit 220 and he has that on our board, and I was like, oh, just in time to watch me take your name off the board, Dan. Like whatever. And I was doing circus dumbbell, and I've never felt anything like it before. I'm still kind of fucked up from it. It's been months now, but I just went and I gave it the throw and the catch, and when it landed or my elbow locked out, I felt this deep like pop in my shoulder. And right there, I was like, oh, I'm fucked up. Like that's something horrible just happened. And I put it down, and I was kind of like, okay, like it's not like catastrophic. Like I'm okay. I
Did
think
you lock
at
it
least.
out?
What's that?
You got the rep?
No, I didn't even get it.
What a waste of a story.
And that's the end of the story is that I didn't beat Dan's number, but it's been like my external rotations have been just kind of fucked ever since then, and I'm working on it. It's getting better, but I still don't know what it was. But that's the problem with the dumbbells. Really is. I think Sean Hayes said this, and it's really true. Like when Tamara got hurt doing hers,
yeah,
where it's like we've gotten so efficient and so technically sound, just as a community strongman in general, with the circus dumbbell, that it's like so much weight for such a small weak joint.
Yeah.
To relatively speaking, to support.
Yeah.
And it's like we're talking about guys who are putting almost 300 pounds overhead, and then being like, oh, I hope my shoulder can support. Like if it
One
goes
of the
2 inches
highest
this way, I'm
yeah.
fucked. You know what I mean? And
One of
they're
the
not gonna
highest
let it
injured
go.
Joints.
What's that?
That is one of the joints that gets the most injured in training.
Right.
And now we're gonna
Yeah,
put
we're-
it to
we're gonna-
more
we're gonna-
vulnerable spots
Yeah.
than a bench press.
Yeah.
And you look at say like Tamara when she got hurt, like all it was that she just had that fucking dog in her, and she's like, I'm not like it was getting too far behind her. What's she gonna do? Let it go? Like she's not going to. You know what I mean? And that's when she got hurt and tore her front delta, I think it was.
Shit surgery, I don't know. Yeah.
And she's waiting or she got it or something.
Yeah.
But it's turning into this really kind of like, what are you gonna do? It's part of the sport, but it's just turning into a pretty risky thing where the amount of weight that we can put up and then expect your body just to be able to hold it up like that,
Yeah.
But
Circus dumbbell wasn't that around that often back when you were competing. Even when I started competing,
I've never done one in competition. We had the two.
I never had it in my comps
Midtown.
either. Yep.
I've never done one in competition.
I'll have to look it up because I know that Dom was prepping for one for CSM, and it was like by today's standards, it was very light. Like I remember it being like 160 or something. I think that's what it was. And I remember being it was a hard one for him. He just because he wasn't like a technical guy, right? It's such a technical lift.
Brute strength.
Yeah, exactly. So he could do the log with all kinds of crazy weight, but when it came to the circus dumbbell, he just couldn't quite
just
figure
one arm
it out.
snatches it instead.
Yeah,
that's
it's probably
clean and press
closer to
shit.
that. Yeah, but he was struggling with it. I just thought it's just interesting to see like. Man, like some of the lifts have just exploded since, and we talk about that all the time, so we don't have to go over it again. But like, to go from Dom going to CSM trying to get, and I'll look it up. I think it was 160, but he was like struggling to get this 160, and now it's like in training, like these women getting ready to go to the Arnold's or.
But that was 8 to 10 years ago. And now the women are beating the CSM weights.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, which the winners from CSM went to Worlds.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
weights that qualified
Yeah.
you for Worlds. Women
Yeah.
are beating now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's a whole different animal now.
It's cool.
What do we have for time? to be
5 to 4.
Yeah,
5 minutes to 4 o'clock.
Was our recording?
50
time?
minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. We'll
40
pretty much
minutes.
leave it there for now. I gotta get back to work here. And Beaks is getting a little sleepy. That guy
Oh,
over there, I
man.
can see.
I got a full night too.
What do you got?
Oh yeah.
Back to
fucking-
back to back to back clients. What'd you say?
It's fucking.
Yeah.
I got that extra inch. I'm giving it to everybody tonight.
I got a full night plan ahead of me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit. My old lady doesn't know. We got a whole full night plan ahead of us now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The endurance I'm gonna have an extra inch.
No, I got so the Falcons team. I've got 2 groups of 5 that I've got in the gym now.
Oh,
on.
nice. That's tremendous.
It's
Great.
awesome.
What's the age group there?
I've got 211. Heinemacke's kid,
Nice.
who's an absolute beauty. I got 2 11-year-olds, a couple 12-year-olds, and a couple 13-year-olds.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's funny though, because you really do see like like you wouldn't think there would be, being like they're only 2 years, but there's quite an age gap between 11 and 13. Hey.
Huge.
Yeah.
In terms of even coordination.
Yeah.
Everything.
Just their size, like
yeah.
you just like like what they want to do in the gym, even like how bad they want to be there probably and stuff
Yeah.
too. It's like
Yeah.
a couple of years makes a big difference, you know.
Yeah, like Rob's kid, he's one of the youngest ones. He really wants to be there, and but the other 11-year-old, great kid, super nice, but it's I don't think he was begging his parents to join.
Sure.
And he's doing fine. And then the older kids have like high school in their sights,
Oh yeah.
and so they're working their ass.
They want to get jacked for high school.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
we
yeah.
did 2 weeks of prep, and now we're like trap bar and overhead press, and you just see them like getting a bar in their hand. They're like, "This is what the gym's
This
all
is
about."
cool. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you do like a ball busting 135 trap bar. Can I go up? I'm like, you certainly can. Like it'll probably be double this by the end of February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like let's hold
not
our
do it
horse.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That's
certainly
awesome.
cannot.
But that eagerness is good to see.
For sure.
Like-
Well, there's
And there's that not satisfied thing.
yeah.
Like
yeah.
I did this.
Already.
What's
Yeah.
next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you do? I'm like, trust me. You're not getting there anytime soon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I hit an easy 275. You're nowhere near this kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, we'll start to wrap things up here. So we have. I actually do want to announce one more thing that I think is going to be.
Just remind me of something.
Yeah, it reminded me of something else. I had a list on my phone, and I put my phone away, and I didn't want
One
to.
more thing I wanted to bring up.
So we are doing our log charity lift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were kind of like I hadn't crossed the T's and dotted the I's yet, but for the charity that we're working with for that one's actually going to be the Dream Factory.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
As if.
Yeah. So one of our clients, or one of our clients, our members at the gym, is working with somebody who, unfortunately, is dealing with a sick child, right? And so, they're working with the. Oh, there goes our camera. Whatever. So they're working with the Dream Factory, and we will be doing it with them to raise money for this family that could use some
That's
help
fantastic.
around the.
I love that.
Yeah, around this time.
It's amazing.
So that's what we're gonna be doing with that one.
Now I'm sucking in lifting for sure.
Yep, absolutely. yep.
Souls
And we're
beaks.
gonna be waiting for the registration to open for that one. I'm just waiting for the poster, basically. But hey,
Yeah.
if you wanna hit me up, and I'll just put you on my list. That way I can start getting an idea of who's coming.
Yeah.
Also following that, we have our novice competition on April the 6th.
Yep.
Registration is not open for that one yet, but just keep it on your
I'm
calendar.
moving equipment in the gym this week. Start testing.
Great.
I'm moving the power stairs in. I'm going to start testing and implement some weights.
Beautiful. If you want to get out there and try the power stairs before the competition,
Yep. They'll be
message
set up.
Devin. Message him a couple days early because he won't be getting your notifications. And after that, we have Tolstoy on May 25th, and
Yeah.
we will refrain from going much farther into the season right now.
Yeah, we'll wait on that.
Cool.
But let's
Those
make sure
are
we.
shockingly close too.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
only
yeah.
January.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
those
it'll,
are going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'll pop right up.
It's gonna be-
You won't believe it. So, if anybody in the city wants help with the log stuff leading into the competition, drop by. Whatever. I'm not going to charge anybody who's trying to come down and do some charity work.
Yep.
And I'm sure that Devin feels the same way.
Same
at
thing
the
myself.
at
You
St.
want to come by
Malo.
and try it out?
If you want to hang out in Beeks' basement with him and do whatever Beeks does,
One of my logs is even at Snap
Not a
Fitness.
whole
pro bono, I'm sure.
Not a whole lot.
One of my logs at Snap Fitness.
I
is
saw
signed
that.
up.
I saw
I
video
gave
of
it
that.
to Mocha so that he's got people interested. I'm like, just take one of my logs.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
build some
great.
interest there.
So with that, we will leave it on Devin's skinny little log that's in Steinbach.
Let's remember our sponsor, Jeremy Weens Realty.
Yes.
Look him up on Instagram, Facebook.
Go buy houses.
Go buy
Yep.
houses. He's your man. I'm telling you guys.
Yep. So on behalf of the Jeremy Weens Realty, Dave Beakley, the camera's off, so no one can see that I'm pointing, but Devin and myself, thank you for listening, and see you guys next week.